You're listening to Conversation Kingz with Dominic Emerson, only on LA Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Conversation Kingz. I'm your host, Dominic Emerson, here on LA Talk Radio. And like always, like, follow, subscribe on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook, where you can get all this information on your streaming platforms. Today, I want to dedicate this show to mothers who have lost children to violence, right? Because there's so much going on in this world that a lot of our youth don't understand what's happening and what's going on and what they're doing in today's society, right? But most of all, I want to come today and talk about overcoming obstacles, right? Because as our youth are going, there's a lot of obstacles that they're facing. There's a lot of obstacles as adults that we're facing. So I just want to come on and give my insight and input on how to overcome obstacles, right? How I overcame obstacles, right? And we face so much nowadays, but we have to have certain tools that we can use in order to overcome obstacles, right? Like, I'm an avid reader, right? I just read a book, and my daughter actually gave me another book to read that she likes. So one of the books that I like is by Sean Whalen. It's called How to Make Ish Happen, right? And this book is a great book if you're looking to overcome obstacles or go further, right? This book is about power, passion, purpose, and production. And that's exactly how we should be in overcoming obstacles that we face, right? And overcoming an obstacle, it's not an easy process, and it's not something that we can just do in a short period of time. It may take a long time or long term in order for us to overcome these obstacles that we face in life, right? But we can achieve our goals regardless of the obstacle, right? Regardless of whatever there is, we can definitely achieve our goals, right? But we have to know how we're going down this path and how we're going down this journey. And there's going to be potholes, there's going to be speed bumps, there's going to be all of these things as we're trying to overcome an obstacle that we face in this life, right? But regardless of where you are in your journey in life, you're always going to come across some kind of obstacle that's going to try to hinder you from reaching your goal or reaching the path that you require or desire in life to maintain yourself, right? And it's always about establishing yourself as you overcome obstacles, right? And for those people that have different obstacles, because we all face different obstacles in life, right? Some obstacles may be anxiety, some obstacles may be depression, some obstacles may be fear, some obstacles may be the loss of a loved one, whatever it may be. I'm going to give you some insight and input on how to overcome those obstacles in life, right? See, because there's keys that you can take and you can use to have a fulfilled life and reach your goals no matter what. No matter what you come across in life, there's always keys that you can use that'll come in handy later on in life so you can overcome these obstacles to keep pushing forward, right? And so it's always about staying focused and having a high spirit, no matter what seems to be trying to knock us down or get us off our direct path or whatever that we're going on. But it's always good to have high spirits, right? A lot of people say that I'm optimistic, but I always believe that it's always going to be a good on the other side of the bad that's been shown to me in my life, right? I always believe that there's something better, even though that bad may be a stumbling block or an obstacle per se in life. I believe on the other side of that, there's always going to be something better and something greater for me, right? So I just want to share that with you today, that you can overcome obstacles in this life in order to achieve your goals, your set personal goals, because everybody has different goals that they want to reach or they want to maintain or they want to acquire in life to be better in whatever situation, on the job, opening up a business, starting a family, financial, credit, whatever it may be. There may become a stumbling block in that process, but I just want to let you know to keep your spirits up and your head held high, and you can overcome any obstacle that you face in life, right? Because we're all in a race to get somewhere fast, but we need these keys and these instructions on how to get there accordingly and what to look out for in order to reach what we are desiring to reach for our own individual success, right? So you got to know exactly what you're after in life. What are you after in life? What are you trying to attain in life? What is your end goal per se? What are you trying to get that makes it where you're successful, or the signs that say, okay, I've reached this point in my life. Now I need to get to this point in life, right? So what exactly are you after in life? See, you have to be a realistic type of person and look at reality of where you're going, what you have. You know, you have to look at the reality of the family you were born into. Those type of things do play a major part in certain obstacles of life that come upon us. But we have to know, what am I going after? What is it going to take for me to get there, right? So what do you want your life to be like, right? What do you want your life to be like? Do you see yourself being successful? Do you see yourself owning a business? Do you see yourself having the things that you would like to have, right? And for the most part, I always set short-term goals, right? Always set short-term goals and get to the point, right? Because if I set short-term goals, I know I can reach them, even though there may become obstacles in my life. I know that I can reach these short-term goals a whole lot quicker, with less resistance. And I know that there's going to be something out of it that I gain because they're short term and they're going to turn into a bigger goal that I'm trying to reach, right? But I'm trying to keep these goals as short as possible so I don't become overwhelmed in life, so I don't become bombarded with all of this extra stuff that comes along with trying to reach the long-term goal, right? Because a lot of people often ask, what is your 2-year plan? What is your 5-year plan? Let's stick to today. What is the plan for today? What is the plan for tomorrow? Because nobody knows what the end year may bring, right? Or what a year or a difference a year makes, right? A difference a day makes, actually. So you got to start with the short-term goals in order to reach your desired goal and overcoming the obstacles, right? So that's one of them that I want to let you know. And you have to talk positive to yourself, right? Talk positive to yourself. It's okay to encourage yourself. It's okay to, tell yourself that you can do these things. We actually think that we need the validation of other people as we're going along this road of life, that we need other people's validation to tell us how good we are, right? But the key thing is to talk positive to yourself. Yes, I can. Yes, I am. And yes, I will get over the obstacle that's trying to stop me from being the greatest that I can be individually as a person, right? So we have to know that this definitely helps when we have these positive self-talks to ourselves, right? It's like I can talk to myself. As long as I don't start answering myself out loud, then people won't think I'm crazy. But if I talk to myself, it's self-affirmation is basically what I'm saying. As I go along this journey to overcome certain obstacles in life, I know that as long as I'm validating myself, what everybody else says is just added on validation, right? But it's more important for me to have those positive talks with myself. And that builds me up. That'll build you up. So that way, when that obstacle does come in your life, it's not as hard to get over, right? It's not as hard to climb up that mountain if I'm constantly telling myself, yes, I can. Like the story of the little engine that could, as children, for people in my generation, we always heard that story, the little engine that could. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. He was basically encouraging himself to keep going forward and to move forward, right? So sometimes you have to encourage yourself in order to continue to move forward in life, right? And that's what it's going to take if you plan on overcoming obstacles, overcoming fears, overcoming anxiety, overcoming certain points of depression, right? You're going to have to talk positively to yourself, right? It's okay to encourage yourself. And every day you're going to have to infuse in your life something good. Every different day you're going to have to infuse in your life something good that you're looking for, right? You have to have reminders of the task that's at hand in order for you to get over those obstacles, right? Have reminders and tasks to do that which is related to the goal that you set out, right? Make your life goals part of your everyday life, even when times get bumpy, right? You got to make that a habit. If I want to overcome something, I have to create habits that help me get over that hump, get over that certain point, right? You'll be able to keep your eyes on what's really important to you when you make certain habits in order to continue to push, continue to move forward, continue to move in a direction that grants you the life that you want, right? Because, like I say, nobody wants a life that's unworthy to themselves or deemed unworthy towards society, right? We all, at some point in our life, want someone or something that says, I've been here. I've done the work that I've been required to do, right? We all want that in life. And so therefore, you have to keep these reminders and these tasks in order to move forward and continue to climb and continue to push, right? And like I said, always talk positive to yourself, right? Always talk positive. Using positive self-talks will keep your spirits up when you feel like you just drowning in water, right? Like I'm trying to keep my head above water, but it seems like the water just keeps rising and rising daily, every day. But if I constantly have these positive self-talks, I can keep my head above, and eventually I'll be able to float through the rough waters that come with life, right? And that's what it's all about, right? And we have to reflect on the efforts in order to reinforce them, right? Reflect on our efforts. If you don't put the work in, then you're not going to have anything, right? One of my buddies, Lavelle Drinkard, always says, hard work pays off. And if I put in the hard work in order to overcome an obstacle, then eventually it's going to pay off. There is a reward for working hard at trying to achieve something in your life, right? And only you'll know how special that award is to you, right? It doesn't matter if your name's not on the plaque or anything, because it's the reflection of self, right? And if it's a reflection of myself, then I know, and I'll have the gratitude within myself to say, I achieved that, I attained that, I've successfully done exactly what I set out to do on this day or this month or this year, right? And that's the whole goal when it comes to overcoming obstacles, right? Because obstacles will come to try to slow us down, will come to try to hinder us, will come to be a stumbling block in our life, right? And some people do not have that mindset that says, okay, this is only for a moment. This is only temporary. This isn't long term. I will be able to get over this. I will be able to get through this. Whatever it may be, I'll get through this. And there's no time limit, right? I just want to reiterate that. There's no time limit on the obstacle that you need to get over, right? As long as you do it successfully, positively, and have patience in it, right? Have patience in that journey, then you'll definitely get over it, right? But there's no time limit. There's no time limit on when you should be over anxiety. There's no time limit when you should be over depression. There's no time limit when you shouldn't have any fear, right? Because honestly, we have not been given the spirit of fear, right? And that's not the way we are supposed to live in this life. We're supposed to live a life that is of abundance, right? But what is the abundance? It's only what I deem an abundance, right? It shouldn't be what the world deems the abundance, right? When we look on social media and you see all these people and they're flashing hundreds of thousands of dollars, that might be the abundance of their life, right? But that doesn't mean that that should go into my life. What does the abundance mean to me, right? So therefore, I shouldn't have any fear. I shouldn't live in fear. I shouldn't walk in fear. And when you get into those states, I want to say this, when you get into those states where you are feeling anxiety, you are feeling some form of depression, right? I am not a licensed therapist, but I will recommend that you do go see someone that can help you get up out of that state, right? Or help you during that state of depression, right? Of anxiety, of whatever you're in. If you need professional help, there's definitely people out here, therapists, clinics that you can definitely go into to get that help in order to get out. Because some obstacles may take a form of, we need an extra push. We need an extra helping hand in order for it to get over. And don't be ashamed to ask for that helping hand. Don't be so prideful that you cannot ask for that hand, right? It's okay, because we're trying to overcome obstacles in this life, right? In order to be better today than we were yesterday, right? So tomorrow can take care of itself when we walk into it. So that's the whole key, right? You want to have a reflection, a positive reflection. You want to have put the time and the work and the effort in order to overcome the obstacles. You want to definitely work on yourself internally so it comes outward, right? If we work on the inward, then it'll come outward with us overcoming obstacles. If I work on whatever's inside of me that should not be, then it'll portray outwardly that I've overcome something inside of me, right? So that's the whole work. Put the time and the effort in, and you'll definitely see the results of you overcoming certain obstacles in your life, right? Because hills and valleys are definitely going to come. Mountains are definitely going to come. There's going to be things that we thought that we should not be facing in life, but sometimes those things that we do run into that we have to face only strengthens us up for the next one, right? For the next obstacle. Because there's definitely, as long as you keep living, right? That's what I used to hear one of the older pastors say at a church I went to. Just keep on living. As long as you just keep on living, you're just going to keep having different obstacles. But it takes you from level to level and understanding how to deal with these obstacles that come into your life, right? So you take heed with that, right? So you have to have a positive mindset, right? That you're going to make it happen, right? I don't want to say the is, but you're going to make it happen in life, right? You're going to have the abundance, right? You're going to not have the spirit of fear, right? And you're going to have the thought and the process that even though to somebody else it may be impossible, but it's not impossible when you believe, right? So therefore, if you're believing that it's not impossible, then you can do it, right? You can do all things. So therefore, don't let anything hinder you reaching the goals that you set out to reach, right? Because you have to say, look, this is what I want in life, and this is what I desire in life, and this is how I'm going to get there. Now that you have that plan, you have it written out, you have your goals set, and they're short term, I'm here to tell you that, yes, definitely you're going to run into some brick walls. Yes, you're going to run into some obstacles. But there's always going to be times when you do run into that brick wall that you're going to be able to see that if I settle down and remember where I come from and how I got over the last obstacle, I'll be able to get over this obstacle as well, right? And that's what it's all about, right? And then also you have to stay away from the negative thought process. Stay away from the negative thought process. If you're going to overcome obstacles, if you're going to be an overcomer, you have to stay away from the negative thought process, because negativity in our own mind can weigh us down, right? It can make us tired throughout the day. If I just have constant negative thoughts, then eventually, mentally, physically, and spiritually, I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be worn out. And nobody else had to even do anything to me. That was my own self-negative thinking, my own self-negative way that I portrayed the obstacle that was in front of me, right? But we have to come to the point of, I can't let that negative self-talk beat me down or change my attitude. And more than we know it, that negative thought, that negative self-talk plays a big part in the results I'm looking for, right? If I say I want to open up a business, but I'm always negative about it, then I'm not going to open up any business. If I say I want to get over anxiety, but I'm always having a negative thought process about anxiety, I'm not going to get over anxiety, right? And the list goes on and on. But we have to take away the negative self-talk and infuse positive self-talk into our lives so we can continue to grow and blossom in this life, right? And that's what it's all about. Just constant growth, constant reality that, look, there's obstacles. There's going to be things that I may need a helping hand with. But yes, I'm going to get over this. I'm definitely going to get over this due to the fact that I see the end result, right? I see that I can overcome this obstacle. I can get through whatever is set out in front of me to be a stumbling block, right? Like, I love my friend Mike Powell, MP Iron Kingdom 365.com. You can go get that merchandise. That's a quick plug. But I love his slogan, all gas and no brakes. Sometimes in life, we have to take that, all gas and no brakes. We can't slow down in life because time is only of the essence, right? We only have so much time to do what we are required to do within ourselves, right? And so you have to understand that I have to keep pushing, right? I have to keep going, and I have to overcome obstacles. This is the Conversation Kings. I am your host, Dominic Emerson, here at LA Talk Radio. Like, follow, subscribe on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. For all your social media, we have you covered on our platform. Follow and like, right? And today I'm talking about overcoming obstacles. And you and I both definitely need encouragement in overcoming obstacles, overcoming things that people said that we may not be able to overcome, right? You may have been the child where they said you'll never amount to anything, but you overcame so much that people didn't realize that you're going to be able to overcome them, right? And you are a success story. No matter how big or how small, you are a success story, right? And you don't hide that from within yourself. You know, sometimes you just pat yourself on the back, right? Pat yourself on the back and understand that you're an inspiration to someone sitting in the seat you used to sit in, right? So therefore, you continue to move forward, right? And you find that even though I went through that, I overcame that obstacle, you share that how you came over with somebody else that may be going through the same situation that you're going through. See, in this life, we're to help each other overcome obstacles. We're to help each other climb mountains. We're to help each other, pull each other up, in other words. So that way we can continue to go forward, continue to overcome anything in this life and society, right? Because overcoming obstacles is definitely a difficult task. It's definitely a difficult task. And it's not for the weak and it's not for the weary. But in my weakness, he is made strong. And in his strength, my weakness is covered, right? So therefore, if I take that as part of my life, then I'm going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to shine in the journey of the lane that I'm in life, right? Because I see it as today has to be better than tomorrow. The obstacle that knocked me off the road yesterday will not knock me off the road today, right? Because I have to look at it totally different. I always used to say, I live for today. I forget about yesterday and I let God take care of tomorrow, right? Because if I'm living in today, I'm dealing with today's obstacles. The obstacle that slowed me down or tried to hinder me yesterday, that was yesterday. Today is a whole new day, a whole new battle. So let me take care of these obstacles that's in front of me today. And then I'll let God take care of tomorrow. When I walk into tomorrow, then that's when I'll deal with whatever's in the present of tomorrow, right? But I have to understand that it's not going to be me by myself, right? I'm going to have to take and read. I'm going to have to take and talk to other people that may have been on the road that I'm traveling. And how did they get over that? How did they become successful? How did they reach their goals, right? And for the most part, people are willing to share, but we're unwilling to ask, right? Like I tell people, there's no wrong questions, right? There's just, we feel that we're not strong enough or we shouldn't ask these questions, right? But if I don't ask, then I don't know. So I'm the type of person, I want to know, how did you overcome? How did you succeed? How did you reach that goal? What did you set out to do? And what came upon you while you were traveling to reach those goals, right? And for the most part, people will definitely tell you what they ran into, how to avoid it in order to be successful, right? In order to achieve the certain goals that we set out for ourselves, right? And I have to be passionate about overcoming obstacles that used to knock me out the way, right? I have to be, because now it's a one-on-one. It's as these the young children say today, it's a 1 versus 1, right? I need that one-on-one. I have to become so passionate about this one-on-one fight that I'm in that I will not let it defeat me, right? In order for me to continue to move forward and continue to push, right? And I have to understand my purpose. As long as I'm going along and overcoming obstacles, what is my purpose? What have I been created to do? What have I been designed to do for my time here on this small piece of rock, right? So it's all about understanding that. And where am I going to be productive at? What is my production? What am I going to give instead of always looking to receive, right? What am I going to give back as I'm overcoming shortcomings or obstacles in life, right? So we have to take all of these things into consideration as we continue to move forward in order to reach our goals, right? In order to change our mindsets, in order to continue to be the authentic person that we were created to be, I have to understand that overcoming these obstacles will help me be a better person within myself, because I want to be better today than I was yesterday. And that's the entire goal, right? For overcoming obstacles. Your goal for overcoming obstacles may be totally different from mine, right? Maybe totally different from your mother's or your father's, right? But the whole key is, how do you go about it? What are you doing to help you overcome obstacles? What are you taking in? Who are you connecting to? What is your connection to overcoming obstacles, right? So just be mindful, right? Like I said before, it's all mind, body, and spirit, right? So all three of them need to be in continuity so that way you can overcome any obstacle that's standing in the way of your progress, of your passion, of your purpose, of your production. And you have to constantly have that self talk that's positive, that I can, I am, and I will, right? I see so many affirmations of today, the I am affirmations, right? But if I don't take that in my spirit, then use it when I come to a roadblock, then I just read something that was useless to me, right? I don't want to take in anything that's going to be useless, because like I said, we only have so much time, allotted time on this rock. So take in those things that are going to help you, that's going to build you up. If you have to, read books that are going to be a foundation in order for you to build upon, right? And those books are going to have things inside of them that will come back to you when it's time to be utilized and used. Because, you know, today may be a perfect day. Today may be, I didn't run into any obstacles. All doors were open to me. All I had to do was knock and it was open. But tomorrow may bring a different situation. But as long as I have an arsenal of the things I've read, the things I've taken into my spirit, the things I've taken into my mind, then I'll know how to use them, right? We have to be students in life in order to overcome obstacles of life. So therefore, every lesson that you are given in life, what did you learn out of it, right? What was viable in that lesson that helps you when you get ready to cross over any certain obstacle of your life, right? Like if you're trying to go for a new promotion, right? What are the obstacles? What are the requirements? Okay, you may be qualified at doing such and such on this job, right? But they require this added on. So what are you doing to overcome that, right? Are you taking the initiative to take the class, get more certifications? What are you doing in order to better yourself and get past that stumbling block to move forward, right? So my message is basically, you can overcome any obstacle in this life. It's just you have to put your foot forward in this life to continue to move forward, so that you'll see more and you'll see a better life that's guaranteed to you, right? That's guaranteed to help you be the better person that you are designed to be, right? Like, who did you talk to today? Was it positive or was it negative? What did you eat? Was it good for your spirit, good for your soul, good, or just something that was junk, right? How are you affecting people in your community, right? It's a lot that goes into overcoming. It's a lot that comes into building this thing up to be willing to be tried and tested, often denied and willing to be tried again, right? So you have to be that type of person that has that burning fire inside of you that says, no matter what comes upon me, no matter what fiery darts are thrown or tossed at me, I will not be defeated in my conquest to be a better me, right? It has to be internal. It has to be in your heart. It has to be something that you set forward in order to bust through those walls, right? In order to become better and greater, because we have, even though we may not see it, but there are people who are looking at us in certain situations that are wondering, how are we going to make it out of those situations, right? I often tell parents, right, especially of younger children, your child is actually looking at you and seeing, how do you deal with certain situations? How do you function when things come up that you didn't plan to come up, right? And your response to that is going to actually dictate to your children how they respond to that certain situation. Because, oh, this is how my daddy responded to it. Oh, this is how my mother responded to it. They're going to see that, and they're definitely going to say, okay, I guess it was okay for them to respond this way. It's okay for me to respond that way, right? So if my parents always got angry when somebody did something they didn't like, then that's okay for me to have that type of response, right? So we have to understand that somebody is always watching the response that we give in certain situations when obstacles do present itself to us, right? And I mean, in this walk of life, like I said, there's going to be so many different obstacles, right, that you're going to have to run into and have to overcome and have to attain the answers to the test of that day, right? And you keep them on your heart. And then once they're written on your heart, it's easier to share them with the next generation, to share them with someone who's asking those questions of, how do I, how can I, what do I do, right? It's easier. Like if my children ask me, Dad, how do I become successful in this area? I'll really direct them to Google, because like me and my buddy say, Google is our best friend. Google, read a book, do your research. Here's a connection that I know that can connect you with the answer that you're looking for, right? Because when you're dealing with obstacles, you're going to have to be resourceful. You're going to have to be resourceful when it comes to dealing with certain obstacles in this life, right? And everybody doesn't always have the answer. That's why I said I'll refer them to somebody that I do know that's been down that path, or know somebody that's been down that path, because I may not have all the answers for my children, right? But I don't want to act like I'm the father that has all of the answers. I'm the man who has everything together, because I definitely am a person who faced different obstacles day in and day out. But the life lessons that I've learned from the obstacles that I've overcome helps me to get past it a whole lot more easier, right? It's not more strain or stress on me when that obstacle presents itself, right? I'm not quick to anger, right? I'm slow to wrath and slow to anger when those certain things present itself. But as a young boy, I did not know that it's okay to talk out a situation, right? But when I was a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things, right? So therefore, Now I know it's okay to talk. It's okay to put my pride to the side. It's okay to put my ego to the side if I'm trying to overcome something that's been hindering me and stopping me from reaching the potential that I should attain for my life, right? It's okay for me to put that to the side. If somebody has to boast and boost themselves up in order to be the bigger person, then that's okay for me, right? That's okay. My grandmother used to always say, the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. And as a young boy, I didn't understand that. But now when I go into rooms and I hear people and they're the loudest ones and they're always talking and they, you know, it's a certain level of confidence. But when you're actually over talking and you're seeming boastful, you're the weakest one, right? It's okay to move in silence, right? Especially if you're trying to overcome obstacles, right? It's okay to move in silence. It's okay not to let the world know, you know, what you're going through or how you're going through it. But on the flip side of that, it's okay if you're going through it, but you need help as well. But you make sure that you speaking to someone that has your confidentiality at hand, right? They understand that what comes to them is a one-on-one and it shouldn't leave that table, right? Obstacles will hinder you. Obstacles may be high and they may be low. They may be big and they may be wide, right? But for the most part, you can definitely overcome any obstacle in life that presents itself. It's just how do you attack that obstacle? How do you go about pushing that obstacle out of the way, right? Once again, this is the Conversation Kings. I am your host, Dominic Emerson, here on LA Talk Radio with overcoming obstacles, which is something that you definitely can do if you put your mind to it, if you put your passion into it, if you put that as your purpose and be productive in doing it, you can definitely achieve it, right? But you have to have the allotted time to sit down and write out these goals of what you need to do in order to overcome, in order to figure out what space you're going into that you need to conquer in order to overcome that obstacle, right? Like some people that I do know have anxiety, right? And I was taught that for most people that have anxiety, they have a breathing exercise, right? They teach them that they breathe and they inhale and they exhale slowly. Well, I don't have anxiety, but that method works for me too. You know, when I face certain obstacles, I breathe in slowly and I exhale, right? Some people say it's meditation and things like that, but whatever helps you to get over it, right? And for the people that I do know that do go through certain anxieties when they come upon certain situations, I have found that they've told me that it actually helps them when they sit back, they breathe, they inhale, they exhale, they catch themselves. Because what that does is help them refocus and regather themselves and regroup in order to move forward, right? So they won't be stuck in that situation, right? They'll know how to go about with dealing with that situation, right? And for people who need to overcome fear, right? Fear is something that keeps us caged in, right? Something that keeps us locked in, right? If I'm fearful of moving forward, if I'm fearful for stepping out of the boat, if I'm fearful for just progression in life, then I'll always be a captive to whatever situation I'm in, right? So we have to get out of being fearful of moving forward, being fearful of progress, being fearful to be successful. There's nothing wrong with being successful in whatever capacity you're trying to be successful in, right? But fear hinders us because we don't have to be in jail to be doing time. I say that all the time. You don't have to be in jail to be doing time, but fear will have you in jail mentally and physically because you're so captive and you're afraid to get out. You're afraid to go forward. You're afraid to push beyond the boundaries that you do not know about, right? But you have to overcome fear in order to grow, have growth, build, be successful. You have to get over the fear of failure. And that's the biggest part when it comes to overcoming the obstacles and overcoming fear, right? People are afraid to fail. Me, myself, person, 9 times out of 10, if I fail 9 times, I'm okay if I get over it the 10th time, right? But as long as you keep trying, it doesn't matter how many times you fail. You just have to keep going and not be afraid to fail. And that's where fear kicks in. And it's like, okay, I failed. I don't even want to try it anymore, and get over that type of fear so you can overcome the obstacle of fear in your life. Don't be afraid to fail, right? And another thing, don't let people who've tried it, who failed, put their fears upon you, right? Now you have to overcome your own fear and insecurities of which direction you're going in. Also, what they thrown onto you, you're trying to overcome that fear and their insecurities. Don't let that pile up on you. You have to break those chains in order to be successful, in order to move forward and overcome that fear. And this is a part of growth, right? This is a part of growth. This is a part of being an overcomer, being someone who is defying all odds, right? This is a part of life where you're saying, look, I'm taking my life in my hands, and I'm no longer fearful. I'm no longer afraid of success. I'm no longer being bound by the things that used to hold me down, right? Because I have a goal, I have plans, I have purpose, I have passion, and I am going to be the most productive I can in this area that I want to be productive in, right? The area that I choose to go in, because that is a part of my set goals. I have taken the time out. I've written my goals. I'm talking to myself positive. I'm giving myself positive affirmations, and I'm feeding myself positivity all day long, even though it may not be positive around me. I may be walking under a cloud and it may be raining on a 24-hour basis. But as long as I'm talking to myself positively and not allowing any negativity, because we have to overcome negative input as well. And that comes from self sometimes also. So if I'm not allowing any of this to come into my life, and I'm going through it and I'm speaking these positive affirmations into my life and I'm moving forward, and the end result is the reward that you're going to be looking for, right? And it may be a small reward, it may be a big reward, but the key thing is that you will receive something because you put the effort forward, right? You had to work hard for it, and you didn't just sit back and wait for it, right? Because nothing is going to fall into our laps. If I'm going to overcome obstacles, I have to realize that nothing that I want is going to fall into my lap, right? I have to climb up over that wall, right? Like when I was a little kid, we used to just hop fences, right? We used to just go and just hop over the fence, just one tug and just jump over the fence. But now that I'm older and I'm wiser and I'm smarter, I'll take my time in climbing over that fence, right? Because I understand that it's for the precautions of my life that I get over that fence safely and securely with no injuries or anything like that. And also result, it may hurt, right? But the key thing is that I stay positive and stay productive as I'm going down this road in life, right? And so you have to understand that you can be an overcomer. There's nothing that can hinder or stop you but you, right? Don't be afraid to fail. Fail as many times as you have to, right? And at one time you may be successful, but just keep tugging away at it, keep plugging away at it, keep going forward. All in all, do not let you stop you from being the greatest you that you can be, right? Because that is what being an overcomer is all about, right? So you can overcome any obstacle. You can overcome anxiety. You can overcome emotions. You can overcome depression. You can overcome fear. You can overcome, coming from a family that everybody in a household has something negative and there's no positivity in that household. You can overcome that. But it starts in your mindset, right? It starts in you renewing your mind, right? And also my daughter had gave me a book, and this book is a great book that I've read through, and she's actually read it and everything like that. It is by Harper Design. It's called It's All in Your Head. Get out of your way, right? It's all in your head. Get out of your way. Sometimes we get in our own way in order to stop us from pursuing what we need to pursue or going after what we need to go after, right? But get out of your own head. Get out of that space. Open that space up, right? Don't live in fear. Don't live in a box. you can be the greatest overcomer that has ever lived in your life, right? So therefore, I just say, do all you can, be all you can, be as authentic as you possibly can as you continue to move forward, right? And so my daughter, because we're avid readers, right? My daughter and I, and she know that I love to read. So she had got me a book by Damon John called Rise and Grind, right? It says, outperform, outwork, and out hustle your way to more successful and rewarding life, right? This book right here. And this is the book that I'm reading now, because in a constant pace of life, I always have to fall back and say, I still need more ammunition in order to overcome any obstacle in life, right? So you can be an overcomer. You can overcome any obstacle in life. Just set goals, and set your priorities right. Have positive self-talks. Remove negativity from around you. And this is the Conversation Kings. I am your host, Dominic Emerson, here on LA Talk Radio. Like, follow, subscribe, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and definitely, it's never personal. It's always business. Be about the business of being an overcomer of any obstacle that you face in this life. I want to just let you know that you can be successful and you can be the person that you are trying to be, and you can be an overcomer. Good night.
You're listening to Conversation Kings with Dominic Emerson, only on LA Talk Radio.